I'm going to outline 10 core principles of muscle gain. They're in no particular order, but utilized in combination will help you massively speed up your muscle gaining efforts. Number one is maintaining a calorie surplus. This means simply taking on more calories than it takes to maintain your existing body mass. So as we do damage to our muscle tissue, it needs to be repaired, and your body will send signals to repair it, not just to its previous state, but to its previous state and beyond. And it can only do that if you have an excess of calories coming in. Otherwise, there simply won't be the building blocks available to do that. Number two is utilizing compound exercises as part of your workouts. These are the big movements like squats, lunges, deadlifts, rows, and presses that use multiple muscle groups to move a lot of weight. You simply need these to promote your testosterone, growth hormone, and to build that foundation of strength. These should be the foundation exercises in the majority of your hypertrophy or muscle gaining programs. Number three is ensuring that there's adequate variety in your training programs. Too many people stick with the same training program for too long and way past the point of diminishing returns. It's very important to make sure each 4 to 6 weeks, or whenever you start to see a diminishing result, that you switch up your training protocol and take on a new workout. This could be different training programs in terms of rep ranges, rest periods, frequency of training, or variety of exercise. Variety is the key, and you have to make sure that you have a fresh stimulus each 4 to 6 weeks, for example. Number four is building a proper foundation in strength, size, and form. This is extremely important and often neglected by younger lifters. You have to go through a certain period of building up your strength, which will lead to a certain amount of muscle size, and you have to do this by really focusing on the technique, especially when you're going towards lifting more and more weight. And as you start to work towards harder and more complex training protocols, if the foundation of strength and form is not there, you lead to you open yourself up to injury and just fatigue and poor results from your training. So it's extremely important to pay your dues, so to speak, and go through the proper foundation of compound exercises, proper training, and learning the technique at a low weight and building it up very gradually. Number five is maintaining a high protein intake. Just as we discussed taking in a calorie surplus, it's important that of those calories, a high proportion be attributed to protein. Protein is going to give you the amino acids necessary to build muscle mass. These are literally the building blocks of muscle, and without them you may be able to put on weight, but it won't be in the form of muscle mass, it would be in the form of body fat. You also want to take into account that you need a high level of healthy fats to help you recover and to perform in your workouts and to maintain a healthy hormone balance. Your carbohydrates should be moderate, but enough to fuel your workouts. You don't want to be restricted if you're going for muscle gain as a goal. Number six is consistency. Consistency really is king when it comes to fitness. Making sure that you're doing your workouts to the best of your ability, day in, day out, week on week, month on month, will lead you in good stead to see great results over the longer period. Even those that take supplemental shortcuts won't see the same results as an athlete who is training consistently week on week, month on month, year on year. Over the course of several years, it would be amazing to see the kind of progress you can make if you're able to keep your diet and your training consistent. I can't stress that enough. Consistency is extremely important, especially with a goal as important or as challenging as gaining muscle mass. Number seven is the concept of progressive overload. So as we've already discussed, it's important to change and switch up your training protocols and regimes, but even within your training phases and mini phases and workouts, you need to be going for an overload principle. This means creating a certain amount of stimulus in your body where your body is forced into adaptation. If you push it too far, you can go into overtraining and fatigue, at which point your gains will be massively sidetracked and you'll feel like you have the flu and you'll be ill. So it's a delicate balance, and it's more of an instinctive thing that you'll gain over time, but you want to be constantly making sure that your body is in a state of overreaching. This way your body is forced into adaptation, and the adaptation that we're promoting in these kind of workouts, hypertrophy workouts, is muscle gain. Number 8 is rest. Now, rest is just as important as training, if not more important to your overall health over the course of your life. If you do not rest adequately, if you do not get the right amount of sleep, and if you do not allow your body to recuperate from exercise, you will be forced into overtraining, and then you will be forced into that state that we just mentioned, fatigue, overtraining, and not able to progress any more of your workouts. So making sure that sleep is just as much of a priority as your training is extremely important. And when we talk about rest and recovery, we're also talking about making sure that you have enough calories. You can't just have a night off and miss meals because you won't be recovered. It really is a lifestyle. It's not just something that you do in the gym. Gaining muscle is a lifestyle, and if you neglect the rest and recovery aspect of it, you will set yourself up for fatigue, illness, overtraining, and a lack of results. So I can't stress the importance of rest enough. Number 9 is making sure you cultivate and maintain a lifestyle that is conducive to your goal of muscle gain. As we've already discussed, making sure that you get enough rest and you don't allow fatigue to accumulate is extremely important to your training. It's also important to make sure that outside of your training, you don't allow stress to accumulate from any area of life, because there is a physical price to pay for a high level of stress. You will release a hormone by the name of cortisol, which will promote fat gain and actually tear down your existing muscle mass. So it's extremely important to maintain an overall lifestyle and maintain a health consciousness that promotes healthy hormone balance and allows you to focus on your muscle gain, because it is a stressor in itself. You're tearing down muscle fiber, so you need to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to allow you to survive that particular stressor without adding other stresses from different areas of your life. I wouldn't take on a very, very demanding muscle building regime when you're experiencing high levels of stress. Exercise, of course, is a great stress buster, but you have to appreciate when you're tearing down your existing muscle fiber, that is creating damage within the body, so you need to be in a state that you can recover from that properly. Number 10 is making sure that you bulk clean, which means increasing in your weight and lean body mass without taking on significant amounts of body fat with you. So over the course of the history of training, many people have done massive bulks where they put on a lot of muscle mass, but they take on too many calories, they're not clean and dedicated enough with their meal plan, and they take on too much body fat. So then when it comes to the point of revealing their gains, there's just too much body fat. They then need to go into a cycle of reducing their existing body fat, and they lose too much and they pay the price of their hard-earned muscle. So what we'd like to do is make sure that the calorie surplus is moderate, like we've talked about, 10 to 20%, and that the calories coming in are nice and clean. That way, we even stand a chance of recomposition. This means for the most dedicated exercises and dieters, and I'm not talking about restrictive, I'm just talking about clean food, you can actually gain lean muscle mass and lose existing body fat at the same time. Now, 10 years ago, we were to talk about this, we would have thought it was only possible through the use of anabolic steroids. But now we know, with excellent training regimes and a very dedicated approach to our meal plan, we can achieve this in a natural athlete. And we've been doing that for some years now with excellent results. So that is what I would advise if you have the dedication.
Thanks for watching. For more health and fitness tips, including workouts to try, recipes to get you started in the kitchen, and interviews with top health and fitness experts, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading more and more content each week, or if you want to take a look at some of my in-depth training programs and articles, go over to my website at www.scottlady.com. I'll see you again soon.